Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Ghost, and today we are playing a free-for-all using the M21 EBR with an ACOG scope. And yes, I do actually really good. Probably one of my better free-for-alls in a long time, especially using a weird class setup. But topic of discussion today might be a little iffy. You know, if you don't want to hear anything that's slightly controversial, just go watch another video if it's going to piss you off. But the reasoning behind this is I'm not going to talk about Kony 2012 and the campaign that's currently going on. If you already know about it, if you don't, go watch the documentary. Just type in Kony 2012. But it kind of sparked something else that is a little more important to me. Yeah, I know I'm a terrible human being for thinking about other people instead of this dictator that's been doing this for 30 years. It's a big deal. He's a terrible human being. He needs to burn in hell. But to be honest with you, I feel like there are more important things in our country that need to be taken care of first. This is my opinion. I understand he is killing, he is raping, he is mutilating like young innocent women and children. But I feel like our problems here in our country, in our neighborhood, need to be discussed also. And possibly let's throw a campaign for stuff like that. Because you know what? It's very overshadowed. And, you know, people actually know about this. As soon as everyone hears about, oh, this guy's doing terrible things, you know, 99% of you guys don't even know who the fuck Joseph Kony is until a week ago. And that's understandable, just because you don't care until you're actually shown the light of what he's actually impacting. So, like, we have problems in the United States. We really do that, you know, need to be addressed with these campaigns also. I mean, if we're going to be so passionate about something and be activists after watching one video, you know, why don't you put that to use? Why don't you put that to use for, you know, children being bullied in school? You know, they go to school every day. They're called a faggot. You know, they get fucking punched and pushed into lockers, and they fear for their lives every day as they go to school. And you might be that kid that is listening right now. You know, your refuge might be going home and just watching videos all day. You know, people, young children nowadays, I understand it is very difficult to go to school. When I went to school, it was semi-bad, so I can imagine how bad it is now that I've been out of high school for 6 years. It's got to be extremely bad, because I see, you know, news stories about young kids taking their life, hanging themselves in closets because they're bullied at school. Like, what? Like, this country has become so hateful, and it's just outrageous, you know. People that are like 12, 13, 14 years old would rather kill themselves than go to school. That's something, like, can we start a campaign for that? Because this is our future. These are our young children that are killing themselves. And it's fucked up. And then on the other spectrum, you have people who work for, you know, in Detroit and for Ford and, you know, all these huge automotive companies who work 30, 40, 50 years. And then when they're about to retire, they're told 45, 50, 60% of their pension is not going to be touchable. You know, you work for this company your entire life. You know, you're giving them your heart and your soul. And then you're like, you know what? It's time to retire. I'm going to collect what I'm actually owed, and then you get spit in the face. You know, you don't get your pension. They freeze your 401k, so you don't, everything you've worked so hard for for your entire life is literally stripped away from you. And like, these are huge. Like, what would you do if you did that? If you worked for a company for 40 years, you know, you barely called out to work. You just gave them it all. You work 10, 11, 12-hour shifts every day. And then when it comes down to the actual reaping the rewards that you earned and you owed, you don't get that. That is happening in the United States. I know that doesn't compare to, you know, the rape and mutilation of children. It doesn't whatsoever. But, you know, these things are happening. Young kids are killing themselves. I recently watched a video showing that, you know, how many suicides go on the actual Golden Gate Bridge. It was a really well put together documentary. And like, you literally see these like 40, 50-year-old men. You see young folks just jumping out, just like taking their lives because they don't want to live in this country or on this planet. Just, there are huge major issues that are really going on. And personally, I feel like the bullying issue, we need to address that. Because like, when I was in middle school, you know, everyone's bullied every now and then, unless you were that kid, you know, Johnny, the star football quarterback, that shit. But like, even people like that have problems, you know, drug addictions, etc. But like, I see people so passionate about this Kony 2012 trying to make an impact on the world. I fully understand that. I watched the whole documentary. It was tough to watch. You know, that shit goes on, and like there's not too much you can do except give money. And then it turns out, you know, 30% of your donations don't actually get there. So, I mean, it's very up in the air about that whole organization. I'm not saying it's fucking stupid, but I'm saying open your eyes and be wise to what you're actually doing. Don't watch one video and feel like you're an activist. That's all I'm saying. This guy gets quick scoped real quick right here. Get owned. So I'm just saying, you know, if you're going to be so passionate about things like this, can we do something in our country? Maybe, you know, save our youth from hanging themselves in closets? I don't know. It's just me. Put that passion towards something else.